So I've thought about doing this video for a while now, about the many adventures of my video game collecting over the past few months. It all really started one day when I was trying to order a Sega Genesis Model 2 Mini Classic Edition, if that's what it's called, I think. I don't remember. But sadly, it never came because for some reason Amazon canceled the order. And then a salty COVID one day went by to a video game store he had passed by several times, known as Gamers World, and decided to check it out for once, see what's inside. And that's when it all started. Now, like I said, over the past few months, what I've been collecting is mainly old consoles, some of which that I wasn't even born yet when they were around, and some that I used to have during my childhood, and even some that I've never even had before. Now, the libraries of games for all these consoles is pretty small, especially one of these consoles I only have like one game for now. But I think I've got a pretty good haul so far. So let's go ahead and start with the first thing that I collected that started it all, shall we? So the first thing in my collection is the Sega Genesis, specifically the Sega Genesis Model 2. Now, like I said, I found this at a store known as Gamers World, and again, this was the mini version I was trying to buy that Amazon decided to cancel for some reason. I'm not sure why they did, but I did get a refund, so there is that. But yeah, I bought this from them, and I was pretty excited to see it. It didn't cost much at all. It cost about like $60, I think. And one of the first games I got it for, I'm sure no one will be surprised by this, Sonic the Hedgehog 1 for the Sega Genesis. Specifically a cartridge that says not for resale. I don't know if that makes it any rarer or not. Probably not, because even then the cartridge, the art is in a bit not the greatest condition. Still got the sticker on it, some sticker remains on it at first, which is something I really hate when collecting these days. The freaking stickers, oh my god, they are impossible to get off sometimes. Jesus. Next, a couple other games that I got in one day was Sonic the Hedgehog 2, that also not for resale. And yeah, again, I was pretty excited. Again, the art is not in the best condition. You can see that the Genesis label is a bit scratched off a bit. Not the nicest cartridge ever, but it's still cool to own. And then this is a Sonic game that I don't think a lot of people like, but I like, ironically, Sonic 3D Blast. For the most part, I kind of like it. It's a bit interesting. Now, what probably takes the crown jewel as the best thing in my Genesis collection so far is, which is not going to be surprising, still, Sonic the Hedgehog 3 and Sonic and Knuckles for the Genesis. Yes, both cartridges I one day found in a different game store actually known as Gamer's Paradise. And I saw both of them in the display case and decided to just get both of them because I consider these two games to be just one game, and to be fair, that's kind of what they were meant to be at first. If Sega didn't really give a shit about that whole McDonald's collaboration, you know? That's literally the only reason why we have two games here in two different cartridges. Both these cartridges, they're in really good condition. I don't know about the art on the Sonic 3 though. It looks a bit funny. It might just be me. But yeah, the Sonic and Knuckles cartridge though, that thing looks like it's in perfect condition. And a really cool thing about that is I was able to find both boxes for both games. Now, it did weird me out a little bit that they use different boxes for these games. I mean, this is probably the standard Sega Genesis box for all Genesis games, but this is a completely different type of box for a Sonic game. This box is also in pretty rough condition. It's been a little bit beaten down. But yeah, not only the boxes, but also the game manuals as well, which is just a nice little bonus to me whenever I'm able to find a game, but also find the original manual inside of it. I really like that, really do. Yeah, there's also the Sonic and Knuckles manual. Just wanted to show you that I did have it. And that already about does it for my Sega Genesis collection so far. A pretty small library of games so far. To be honest, there's not really a lot of Genesis games that I'm really going after right now. At least not for now. At least the Streets of Rage games, I'll definitely try to look for it, and maybe Vector Man. I heard that's a pretty good title on the Genesis as well. But yeah, for now, this is all I've got. But it's still cool. I value this. It's the first thing that started my collection in old gaming stuff. When I first got that feeling of playing Sonic 1 or 2 or 3, all of them, on the original hardware, because I never had got to play them on the original hardware before. I mean, before it was always maybe one of the collections. Like the first time I experienced the Genesis games was on the DS collection, and Sonic 3 I loved the most, getting the Super Emeralds and everything. Yeah, that was the Genesis. Let's go ahead and move on. Alright, as for the next console that I collected, which is, and by the way, this is the last of like the home consoles that I've collected so far. Most of the other stuff that I collected are handhelds. But anyways, this is the Sega Dreamcast, a console that I was always kind of interested in owning even as a kid, because I didn't know about it, and I think I even knew a friend that owned one, but never owned one myself. When I was a kid, I had a GameCube, and I think we also had a Wii. So yeah, it was a little bit more about the Nintendo stuff for me as a kid than the Sega stuff, but I still thought this was a pretty cool device when I heard more about it as I looked up online. This was also something I bought from, well, actually no, I didn't buy this from here as well. I bought this from a completely different store. I bought it from not Gamers Paradise, Alabama Game Exchange. There we go. I had to remember for a second there, and I kind of had to go back twice for this little thing, and that was because this little port right here was not working right. They didn't really give you like the original output thing for this right here. They gave you like a newly third-party made one that supports HDMI, so you can use this on like a modern TV, I guess. And at first it just wasn't working, so at first I thought maybe it was just because it was using a custom-made HDMI cable for it. But no, it was just because the other console that they gave me first was just faulty. So they basically just switched out the console for me with another one, and this one works just fine. Now, this is also the console, by the way, that I said just had one game for it, by the way, and I have a reason why. It is the only game I have for this right now is, are you surprised at this point, Sonic Adventure. Really good game, by the way. I suggest you check it out. Warning, it is from like before 1999, I think. This is when it came out. There's going to be a lot of like not so good looking graphics compared to today's standards, but anyways, the reason I mainly got this is because, well, it's Sonic Adventure. I mean, I had to have it in my collection, honestly. But I haven't really got any more games for my Dreamcast yet, and that's because I don't really have a memory card for it yet. That's specifically why. And I don't know if this is a thing with other people, but when I collect a new game, I immediately want to try and make sure like it works. Not just that it works, and also actually get into it and play it for a bit. And because I don't really have a memory card, I haven't really been going out for more Dreamcast games. And I haven't really found a memory card yet. At least not physically at a store or something like that. Eventually I might just give up and go on eBay and look for something. But until then, I haven't given up yet, so hopefully I might find one. Who knows? And that's pretty much it for my Dreamcast collection, honestly. There's not much to it. And this also does it for the home console that I've collected over these past few months. Now, we get to move on to the handhelds, which is a library of games that I think will actually be a lot more interesting than my console library. Oh boy, where do I begin with this? Okay, I guess I should start with like the first handheld I actually collected, which was the Game Boy Advance. I have cases for all of these, by the way. Now, the Game Boy Advance SP specifically is what I got, and I remember this being probably one of the first ever video game consoles or handhelds that I ever played, ever pretty much introduced me into the genre of video games in general. And the original one we had was not even ours, actually. It was actually our mother's, I believe. And me and my brother, we definitely lost it one day. Sorry about that. But I made it up. I think I've made it up these many years later by also getting her a Nintendo, original Nintendo. I'd show that off, but I don't really want to have to carry my laptop all the way out to my parents' bedroom, and I'm pretty sure they don't even want me filming in there anyway, so yeah. So yeah, here it is, and the color I got for it was just black. I didn't really see a cooler color in there. Well, actually no, that's a lie. I saw a flame red one in there, but I don't know why I didn't get that one. For some reason I thought, get black, that's the cooler one. I'm a fool for it. And this one specifically is the AGS-001 model, actually. There were two different models of the SP. The other one having a much brighter backlit screen than the other one. Okay, on camera this actually looks a lot brighter than I'm giving a lot brighter than I'm giving it credit for, but I'm being for real with you. Okay, actually the way it looks right now on camera, that's about how bright it is, I think, actually. But yeah, I don't have the brighter or brighter or screen model. Which is fine. I mean, this is bright enough for me personally. And now the games I have for it. Yeah, unfortunately, I don't really have any boxes at all for any of these games that I have. The store, I bought all these from the exact, well, not all of them. Most of them I bought from the exact same store, and all of them just came in just the cartridges, not any case or anything like that with them. Which was the same for a few of these that I bought from another store as well. Which is just okay. Which is okay, honestly. All right, now the first thing in my Game Boy Advance collection I want to show off is the Sonic Advance trilogy, of course. Just to get that out of the way, you already know by now. If you've been watching, I did the last couple of Sonic videos I did was about the Advance trilogy. I know I still need to get to Advance 3. I know, I do. I will eventually. Trust me, I will. Eventually, I just haven't yet. But yeah, it's a fun little trilogy. Advance 1 kind of dips down at the end of it a bit at the final stage, so yeah. And Advance 2, there's just bottomless pits everywhere, which kind of makes me mad. You already know how I feel about both games if you watch my videos on them. Advance 3, I don't have an opinion on it yet, not just yet. Next one I'll show is Ghost Rider for the Game Boy Advance. I haven't played much of this yet. It's kind of like a beat 'em up, side-scrolling beat 'em up, I think. But it's kind of fun. Interesting enough, 2K made this. Doesn't 2K just make sports games? I don't know. But anyways, moving on. Next is Ultimate Spider-Man. I actually originally played this on the GameCube when I was a kid, and I had a lot of fun with it. I did actually do a video where I did a bit of gameplay on Ultimate Spider-Man. I didn't have any voice, any commentary on it. It was just pure gameplay. That was it. And that was running through an emulator on, I think it was Dolphin, it's called. Yeah, this is the Game Boy Advance version. I never played this one. I'm a little deep into it, actually. It's not bad. It's not bad. It's not great, honestly, but it's alright. It's alright, honestly. Okay, next is the Crash Bandicoot Game Boy Advance games. I'm a bit of a fan of a Crash Bandicoot. I played the Insane Trilogy and Crash Bandicoot 4, and also Nitro Fueled, and had a pretty good time with all of them. I haven't gotten to Entranced yet, but I will eventually. I just haven't beat the huge adventure just yet. So far, these are a good time. I do recommend you play these. If you can't find the cartridges, then just emulate them. Honestly, I mean, I know a lot of people don't really like emulating because the purity, I guess. But I don't really think there's a problem with emulating games these days. Honestly. Now, the next two games that I'm going to show off are actually some of the more rare games in my collection, period. My entire gaming collection, probably. The first one I want to go over is the Invincible Iron Man. This was one that was really heavily recommended to me by the people at Alabama Game Exchange. And it was kind of one of the more pricier Game Boy Advance games. Not too pricey, but still kind of pricey. And honestly, this one's not bad. It's kind of like a Mega Man game or like a run and gun game. And it's a really short one as well. Apparently, I haven't beaten it yet because it's not also just short. It's also really hard, just like Mega Man. But yeah, not a bad game. Again, one of the more rare games of the Game Boy Advance. So glad to have this in my collection. Now, the next game, I'm not kidding when I say this might be the most rarest, most valuable game at all in my entire collection. For how much this thing costed, oh my god, this one game was very expensive, and it was kind of accidental. Don't ask how it was accidental, okay? Just don't ask, okay? That is Dragon Ball Advanced Adventure. This is what I've heard is actually one of the most valuable GBA games out there right now, apparently. And I don't really see why. I think the game is great, honestly. I don't know how a Dragon Ball game of all games is kind of one of the more rare games out there. I don't really get it, but I think this one is a really good time. It's got like a lot of things going on for it. It's kind of like a beat 'em up, but also a platformer. There's sometimes where it just switches to where it's like a 2D fighter. It's really fun. I've had a really good time with this so far. I put quite a couple hours into it so far. I haven't beaten it yet, but I'm really enjoying this one a lot. The one I really want to find though is Super Sonic Warriors. I played that through an emulator, and that one is so good. It's so much fun. If I can find it, oh my god, best believe I'm gonna get that on the spot. And that does it for my Game Boy Advance collection. Let's go ahead and move on to the 3DS, shall we? Oh my god, I hope these cartridges are okay after that. Why did I do? I already regret doing that dumb skit. Did I find all of them? Yeah, I did. Now, like I said, we're gonna go ahead and move on to the 3DS. This is probably the second handheld that I collected. It might have been one of the other ones that I collected so far that I'll go over, but I don't really remember right now. So we're just gonna go ahead and just move on to the 3DS. One I have specifically right now is the Cosmo Black 3DS because they didn't really have any other 3DS colors, and I didn't really want to pay too much for one specific handheld, so I just got this one, the first model one that's colored black. Wasn't too expensive at all, and I have a bit of history of the 3DS myself. My first ever kind of 3DS technical was one year as a Christmas present, but not the 3DS, the 2DS. And the main reason I got it was because I convinced my parents that the 2DS was just a lot cheaper. So I'm pretty sure it launched at what, $80 or something like that. Then eventually over the years, my mom upgraded me to a 3DS XL that I one day sold in order to buy a Switch. Again, sorry. Yeah, then I just rebought myself a 3DS, and I've been having a good time with this thing. Some of the games I have been a lot of fun to play on. Speaking of which, oh yeah, by the way, this one didn't come with a stylus, sadly. But I mean, the price was less because of that, so hey, I'm not losing. Now, a couple of these are just simple DS games, while others are actual 3DS games. The first one I'm going to show up because I don't have a box for it, just want to get out of the way, is Sonic Colors for the DS. And yeah, the artwork is not in the greatest shape. Wanted to give this one a shot because I heard it was just essentially the third Sonic Rush game, and yeah, it pretty much is. And yeah, it's kind of fun, not gonna lie, I like it. Now that we got that out of the way, we can just show off all the other games and just with their boxes. First is Mario Kart DS. This was one I actually did get to try right during middle school. I think I had a friend who had this game on their 3DS, and yeah, I think it's pretty solid. Not gonna lie to you, I kind of like it more than some of the other Mario Karts that I've played over the years. But yeah, good game. Next is The Legend of Zelda: A Link Between Worlds. One of the Legend of Zeldas on the 3DS that I did not get to try actually. When I had a 3DS before, I had Triforce Heroes, Ocarina of Time 3D, and Majora's Mask 3D, which again I regret getting rid of highly. Yeah, I've been having a good time with this so far. I haven't had a chance to play much of it yet, but yeah, it's been a lot of fun. Next is Batman: Arkham Origins Blackgate. Now I did find out later this was on the PlayStation Vita, so unfortunately I couldn't get that version because I already had this version. I just realized I spoiled. Oh. Okay, anyways, this plays basically a Metroidvania. You know, the combat is the same as in the other games, except it's in 2D. You have your puzzles, you have your gadgets. There's a few annoying things about this, but overall, it's not bad. It's not bad. It's pretty okay. I like it. Next is Rayman 3D, which is actually apparently Rayman 2. For some reason, I don't know why the name is completely different. Again, haven't played much of this one either, but so far, again, I like it. It's not bad. Next is one of my personal favorites on the 3DS, Super Mario 3D Land. I did play a lot of this when I had my first ever 3DS, and yeah, I've been playing a lot of this one on my new 3DS. So far, I'm just on World 4, but yeah, this is a very solid Mario game. I'm not the biggest Mario fan, but there are some games in the franchise that I kind of like. Next was one of the games I kind of regret buying. I don't really like it too much. Is Street Fighter 4. This game doesn't really play too well on the 3DS. I mean, it looks cool. I even got little slip-on cover for it, but it's not that great. It's nothing special, honestly. Next, another game that I've heard a lot of bad things about, but honestly is not bad. I kind of like it. Is Chibi Robo Ziplash. Now I've heard multiple times this was just a really bad Nintendo game, but it's not okay. It's not the best. I'll admit that, but it's also not the worst. I don't really get what all the hate is about. So far, I kind of like it. Yeah, just again, solid it's okay. Now, next is another game that I do kind of regret buying, Lego Star Wars 3: The Clone Wars. Literally one day I just walked into the store and couldn't find anything, and I didn't just want to walk out there empty-handed, so I just randomly just bought this. Honestly, it would have been better if I just didn't buy anything at all that day. But yeah, not a great game to play on a 3DS. And yeah, that's about it for my 3DS collection. The next thing I want to move on to is the Sony PlayStation Portable. Now, this is another handheld console that I did play when I was a kid. It was not owned by me again, it was owned by my dad. My mom owned a GBA, my dad owned a PSP. And the one that I have specifically is the white Darth Vader, Star Wars Darth Vader edition of the PSP, which was kind of an accident. I just saw it in the display case and saw that it was white, so I thought, okay, that's cool. That's a cool looking console. I didn't even realize that at all that it was the Darth Vader edition one, which I guess is also kind of cool. You know, it's a limited edition version of the PSP, which is again cool. So, funny story. There was actually the day that my mother was giving birth to my little brother, and my dad literally gave me one of his PSPs to play Ben 10 Protector of Earth on it. I guess to distract me or something. I don't know why. But yeah, that's a little fun fact. Oh, by the way, just to mention this, just to get out of the way, this is a 2000 model. In case anybody was curious about that, I don't know if anybody was, but probably not. But wanted to just shut that off. Now onto the games. Now the first game I want to show off is the only one that I don't have a box for sadly yet, and that is God of War: Chains of Olympus. I've just been really getting into the God of War series as of late, and the first thing I wanted to do was get into the PSP games, and this one I kind of had to order off of eBay. Sadly, I could not find it anywhere. So far, this is the one I've been playing on my PSP the most right now, and I'm having a good time so far. Not gonna lie to you. It's not as good as Ghost of Sparta, in my opinion, but it's alright. I like it. Gonna go ahead and put this back into the PSP because again, don't got a box for it. Sadly. Alright, first game I'm going to show off is Daxter for the PSP. Now, I've never really played the Jak and Daxter series, not at all to be honest with you. I just heard this was a really good PSP game. I've played a little bit so far, that's about it. But it looks really good on the PlayStation Portable, really good. It seems like it goes all the way up to PS2 graphics and all like that. And yeah, it looks good, it plays well, I like it so far. Next is, not going to be surprised by this, once again, Sonic Rivals. I played this before on an emulator and kind of had fun with it. I just bought it because, why not? It was for a really cheap price and, it was just right there. So yeah, not much to say on this one, I just liked it. Alright, next one is one that I did buy from Gamers World, and the only time I've ever had to go back to the store, and it was just because they just simply gave me the wrong game at first. And that is Dragon Ball Shin Budokai. The game they accidentally gave me at first was Tenkaichi Tag Team, which I looked up is definitely not the same as Shin Budokai. I figured maybe it was called something differently in a different country. Nope, it's a completely different game. But yeah, basically this plays just exactly like the Budokai games on the home consoles. This is the first Budokai game that I've actually gotten to play, and I really like it. It's really fun. One thing I do like is that I don't have to play with the little joystick on the PSP. I'm not gonna lie, I'm not a big fan of this little joystick. It does not feel good. I can just use the D-pad to move around, and I prefer that. It's a lot of fun. This is a lot of fun. I do recommend it. Okay, speaking of which, with God of War, the next one is God of War: Ghost of Sparta. Oh my gosh, I really, really love this game. It's so much fun. This is probably one of my more favorite God of War games, honestly. You basically go around, I think the first thing you do is you drown Atlantis, I think. It's been a little bit since I played this, by the way. Basically the main goal you're doing is you're looking for Kratos' brother Deimos, because originally Zeus planned to kidnap a marked warrior, which turned out to be Kratos, but it was actually, he got Deimos instead because he had markings, and Kratos later put markings on him in honor of Deimos. So, yeah, they just picked up the wrong kid because he didn't have the marks on him at the time. But yeah, really loved this PSP game. Honestly, one of my favorites, honestly. Okay, the next few PSP games I have are ones I either have not played yet or have just not really had fun with, at all. This is Dynasty Warriors. Yeah, I kind of picked this up because I have played a few Warriors games before. Pirate Warriors 4, Persona 5 Strikers. That was a fun one. I played the demo of Hyrule Warriors: Age of Calamity, which was alright. Then I played this on the PSP, and I didn't like how the screen looked. First of all, I got confused by how to navigate the menu and stuff. I don't know. I don't know if there's like a tutorial I can do or something like that. I haven't really touched this since the first time I played it. I just didn't. I don't like it so far. Hopefully, my opinion on it can change, so I can actually, like the game. Because the Warriors games, they look fun, honestly. Next, we have Metal Gear Solid Peace Walker. Never played a Metal Gear Solid game before, so figured I'd jump in with Peace Walker. And I don't like how this game controls, honestly. You know how they have first-person shooters on the PSP? Well, guess what? Because this thing has like one little joystick. You want to know how they have you move the camera? You want to know? You really want to know? They make you have to press the freaking face buttons to move the camera. Down, up, left, or right. But actually, no. In Peace Walker's case, this is left, this is right. It's already kind of confusing enough to use the face buttons as the camera, but to have them inverted a little bit is even more confusing. I couldn't get into it literally because of that. Hopefully this is another game I can change my mind on. Alright, next one is Metal Gear Solid Digital Graphic Novel. Again, this is one I just haven't played yet. I don't really play visual novels. They're not really my cup of tea, but to be fair, I haven't played them, so might as well give it a shot with this one, right? Just haven't played it yet, sadly. Also, yeah, this case that I have for my PSP, by the way, I don't recommend it. You see this little circle indent on it? Yeah, that originally had like a little silver circle on it, which I thought was like metal or like plastic or something. No, it was literally a sticker that I could just peel off very easily. It was already peeling off when it came in the mail, actually. And it's a really tight fit in there for the PSP. Like, I kind of got to slide in there between like the little straps. And it's such a tight fit in there, honestly. I'm almost scared like it's mashing down on the shoulder buttons too much. I plan to get a different case for this, one that actually also holds some of my games that I can put in case I ever want to bring this on the road with me. But yeah, I don't recommend this case, not at all. Also, a fun fact: when I bought this, the guy at Alabama Game Exchange gave me a car PSP charger that I could use, so I could charge it in my car. I haven't used that yet to see if it works, but it was kind of nice of them. I think he just really wanted to get rid of it, honestly. He seemed kind of relieved to just get it out of the store, honestly. So, yeah. Cool, I guess. I didn't have to pay for it. It was free. But yeah, hopefully it works whenever I get a chance to actually try and use it. And the one handheld in my collection that I wish to talk about is the PlayStation Vita. This is one of the only other consoles that I have just never really owned. I'll admit, as a kid, I didn't really even know it existed. I was just into the DS and 3DS and stuff as a kid. I didn't even know about this thing. And to be fair, it's kind of because Sony didn't really give this thing the support it needed at the time, which is why not a lot of people probably even know about it. It only sold 10 to 15 million units, which you might think sounds like a lot, but compared to the PSP, which sold 80 million units, and the DS, which sold 150 million units, compared to that, this thing was a flop. The one I have specifically is the 2000 model, or just the Vita Slim. I do kind of want the 1000 one a bit more. That one looks a bit nicer and looks like it would fit comfortably in the hands more than this one. But I still really like this one. This one's nice. It's sleek. It still feels good. It's got 2 analog sticks, by the way. Great for shooters, which is one of the games I'll actually talk about when I get to it. But yeah, before I even get into the games, I just want to talk about my experience with this thing of when I first bought it. Oh man, so I only did have to go to the store, go back to Alabama Game Exchange once to get this thing fixed. But the amount of time I had to wait was over a week because the problem with this thing was it wasn't charging right, basically. And I think the only thing they needed to do was just swap out the battery. And I know that because that's what they told me they did, basically, when they finally got it fixed. Let's call the first guy Robbie, and let's call the second guy Jimmy. Robbie was the one who said he would fix it. That night he said he would fix it. He said he was also kind of just really tired from working a lot. So I figured, okay, maybe he'll probably just go to sleep first before thinking about fixing this thing. You know, so it doesn't really damage anything. I get it. But nope. Day after day, checking in, it just did not get fixed. They just did not get to it yet. Until one day, Jimmy decided to just tackle it on himself. He didn't do it before because he's never done it before, as he claimed. And when he done it, he said it was really easy, just swapping out the battery, and that's it. So yeah, now this thing charges correctly, and everything else has been working just fine. Honestly, just great. Now, moving on to the games. Okay, now one of the first games I want to go over is a couple of the digital games that I have on here so far, and that's the first one I have is the God of War collection, which has God of War 1 and God of War 2, which is kind of how I'm experiencing some of the first ever God of War games that were ever made. So far, I like it, basically. Next one is Super Meat Boy, also another game I really like. It's just really good. 2D platformers are just really good to play on this thing in general, since you got the D-pad up here and the buttons. Yeah, that's it as far as digital games go. As far as physical games, I just have 5. That's about it. Probably my second smallest collection of games for any consoles that I have so far. Actually, no. That's actually for the home console games now, isn't it? Because it's just 4 games for the Genesis. Still, just by counting Sonic 3 and Sonic Knuckles as one game. And then 1 game for the Dreamcast. Okay, never mind. This is the 3rd smallest library of games for a console that I own. Well, never mind. That just now occurred to me. First one I'll talk about, just to get out the way, because I don't like it that much, is LEGO Batman 2 DC Superheroes. Me and my brother did really like playing this when we had a Wii. A lot of fun just exploring the city of Gotham as just any of these superheroes or villains. But this is just not as fun to play on a Vita as it is on just like a whole Wii, in my opinion. Not the greatest LEGO game. Next is Tearaway. It is a really good just 3D platformer. It really utilizes the things about the Vita very well, like the rear touchpad and stuff. You can just you touch the back of the console and you'll go through like the paper and stuff. Basically, there'll be like these paper trampolines. You'll tap the back and your little character will just pop up and stuff. You're basically you're part of the game and stuff. And again, I really like this game. This is like one of my favorite games for the Vita so far. Really good. Next is Ultimate Marvel vs. Capcom 3, a game I really enjoy playing on the PS3. We still have our PS3, we just don't have it hooked up and stuff. But yeah, also just really solid. I really love playing this. At first when I got this, the touch controls were enabled, and I did not like them at all. They were really easy. It's just too easy to use by playing that game by just tapping the screen over and over and then doing like a big ass combo. So yeah, I immediately just turned touch controls right off, and even then, I use simple controls. Yes. Okay, look. Hey, stop booing. Look. I'm not about to learn a whole new fighting game on this little thing of all things. I don't think this is the best thing to play a fighting game on. No offense, okay? I'm just saying. Next is Mortal Kombat. I know I literally just said it's not the best thing to play fighting games on, but it said you could play as Kratos, and that was enough to get me interested in it, honestly. There's also the one that had Fred Krueger in the game. I remember playing with this with a friend on their PS3, and still really liking it. Haven't played much of it, but it's Mortal Kombat. I'm guaranteeing I'm gonna have a lot of fun with this, honestly. And the final game for my PlayStation Vita is Killzone Mercenary. Oh my goodness gracious, friends and family. This is probably my favorite one on the Vita so far. For one, it just looks really good, and the controls, they're great. They work so freaking well, and it's just really fun to play. I've just been playing the campaign so far, because sadly, when I was buying this, the day I bought this, I also sadly found out that these online servers had shut down just last year in August, which really sucks, honestly. I was looking forward to actually playing the multiplayer. I'm sad by that. But yeah, no, I'm gonna get through just playing the campaign at least. It's a fun campaign at least. I like it so far. I haven't beat it yet, but I like it. Really great game, honestly. If you haven't played it yet and you have a Vita, go for it. And yeah, that's my entire video game collection so far. I know. Again, it's not a lot compared to other other people's collection, but to me, this is a lot for now. There's some other consoles that I want to go for next, and stuff like the N64 interests me, or just the regular Game Boy, the original Game Boy. But for now, probably not gonna try too hard to look for now. Kind of just taking a little break from it, and I may turn this into a little series. Like if I collect enough stuff that's enough for a video, then we'll see what happens. Yeah, out of curiosity, what do y'all have in your video game collection? Do you own any rare games or rare game systems? Any limited edition systems, maybe? Like I do with my PSP? Leave some comments down below, and I'll see y'all next time.